Welcome back, everybody, to the Marketing Mirror podcast. I am your host, Matt Bork. I'm one of the partners and creators at Search and Rescue Marketing Agency. And today on the podcast, I have the absolutely glorious Ali Matos with me. She's going to be co-hosting with me. And today we talk about the art of imperfection and what that means for you, for your business, and how we hope that this little conversation can give you tools and enable you to know that you are not alone. We've all been there. We are there. And that you can bring your entire full self into your marketing. So listen into this. This one was awesome. I had a lot of fun, and thank you, Ali. Welcome to the Marketing Mirror podcast, where we help guide and navigate you through the ever-changing world of marketing. So, no smoke and mirrors here, just the unfiltered truth served with a side of wit. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Marketing Mirror podcast. My name is Matt Bork. I'm one of the creators here at Search and Rescue Marketing and one of the partners, and I'm joined by my good friend, Ali Matos. How are you, Ali?
I'm doing well, Matt.
You're doing well?
It's been a minute.
It has, hasn't it? Yeah. I'm excited to chat with you today about the art of imperfection and kind of what that means and the struggles that certain people have. It's something that comes up quite a bit, and my heart goes out to them because I know what it feels like to not want to release anything, no content. Even when I was a musician, I didn't want to release anything that I didn't feel was perfect, and how that actually can hold you back and hold your business back. So I thought today we just kind of have an open and an honest discussion around what target audiences are looking for, and that imperfection actually can be perfect. But yeah, I just really wanted to have this conversation with you because I know that you're somebody that talks a lot as well with businesses. And so you get to hear and see all of the kind of things that they are insecure about, things that they're worried about, things that may hold them back from creating content. And I think that one of the things that I want to get rolling with is that you start to see that people, there's always a lot of excuses as to why not to post content. And so I wrote down just a couple things. So if I'm just going to look at a couple things that I wanted to share, is that from being on location, shooting with a lot of clients and things that I've heard over the years from businesses of all sizes, it seems like some common themes have come up of why people have always felt there's a worry about not posting perfect content, whatever perfect might be. One was things like brand image concerns or customer perception, pressure to compete, social comparison, lack of control. And they were all very, very valid things that I had heard people talk about as why they wouldn't post what they considered imperfect things. And what I hear from that is actually just what does your target audience want? Are they looking for perfect content? As human beings, we're not perfect people. We want to do business with humans. We don't want to do business with brands. And so if we are humans that are imperfect people, then we're okay with imperfect. In fact, imperfect is perfect. And I just wanted to get the ball rolling and just kind of see what you felt about that topic as we kind of just dive into this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like you said, it's something, it's actually become part of even myself and my brand and how I show up online. I think we talk a lot about, and you said this yourself, businesses want to show up. And I think people are craving, especially where we're at right now in the world, everyone's craving more authentic connections. And the only way that we can really connect that way, truly authentic way is to really just show up. And it's very interesting because we do get these questions a lot when we're on, our shoots, and, clients will say here's the latest trend and this is what this person's posting. And it's always a big thing for us to be stop looking at these people. I know that, it's great to look at brands and businesses for inspiration. 100% amazing. But when we're looking at the bigger picture, it's so simple. You don't need much. The idea is just to show up as yourself, and people will connect to that. And we've seen this in so many of our clients where they were creating content that they thought people wanted to see. And then when they just showed up as themselves, they're just here's a vulnerable post, or this is how I feel. All of a sudden people were wow, there you are. I found you. So I think it is very interesting, when it comes to the perfect ideal, way to show up online is to really just truly be yourself. And in that way, you're showing not only the highlights of your business and your life, but you're also showing your struggles. Yeah. And we did talk about this in one of our other podcasts, but it was talking about being able to see people in all aspects of their life. And that's how we can truly connect. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I find that that's part of actually a brand. It's now it's become a part of me. When I show up authentically, I share my struggles, I share my highs, my lows, everything. That's where I find my community. That's where they show up.
Yeah. It is interesting because it takes a level of confidence, right? But also a level of just letting go. Understanding that like actually seeking that perfectionism can actually damage your brand. That's another thing too. And so I know in my own life, I love that you share that experience about the way that you know, show up honestly, like transparently, like that's something that it's inspired me. It's inspired so many people. And I know that, for me, like in my life, I always struggled with, you know, not teaching something unless I really knew, like, and I had mastered it, and not really wanting to share something with somebody unless it was perfect. And that's not me. It's just that I felt like that sometimes was the way that I needed to be portrayed or perceived. And yet that's not in a core value of who I am. That's not somebody that I even want to be. And I know that it's not sustainable for me. I want to be the same person that I am with you right now as I am with our listeners that are listening to, with my daughters, with my wife, my partner. I don't have the capacity, nor do I want the capacity to have to be anything but that. And I find it interesting because I think sometimes there's a level of vulnerability that people get nervous of sharing those things, as you mentioned, the ups and the downs, but they don't realize the power in it. And so they don't realize that there's this massive engagement that as, like as your target audience, your ideal community, they want to engage with you. They want to feel that there's something more, that they can trust you, that they can relate with you, that they can be a part of your journey, because it is just more than the products and services that you offer, that a business offers to their clients. And I know that, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say, like, I think it is interesting because I've seen this before where, so let's say, you know, you're someone, okay, here, I want to post something and I have everything ready to go because I'm sharing my heart. And then you start to doubt yourself because you're talking about confidence, right? And then all of a sudden, this beautiful piece of content gets like ripped apart. Right. In our own, you know, our own way, we'll look at it and say, okay, I'm judging it this way. We're thinking about what other people are thinking. And then this awesome content, I've seen this so many times with our clients, is like, they're like, I love this. And then they're like, no, I'm throwing it away. It's gone. And you're like, well, why didn't you post it? Or they're like, you know, they're overthinking things. And it's like, there's some beautiful content there. There's some like when I see content out there, like the idea is like always posting with intention, right? Like what's the reason behind it? When you're posting authentically, like from yourself, there's always going to be intention there. Yeah. So then, you know, like then it's just thrown away. And it makes me really sad because it's like that could have been, you know, a piece that would have really connected with someone that would create more community, a more meaningful connections, like your own client, sales. Like there's so many things that like almost like a domino effect that they're all like interconnected. And just from that one piece, just being like, no, it's not good enough. Sorry. You know?
Yeah. And it takes that level of bravery to be like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to share it. I'm going to post it. And I think that we owe it as business owners to our community to be real with them. Like that's what we're looking for anyways. I know when you're sharing that story, I thought of a story of when I learned a huge lesson when I first kind of was creating content, and I had created some content that was, to me, it was absolutely beautiful. Like the content it looked like a movie. It was phenomenal. I was so proud of it. I thought this was amazing. And it fell like fully, to be completely transparent, it fell fully flat. It did not do what was hoped or what we had thought it was going to do. And that was because like, I'll admit, like it definitely, a level of my ego got in the way. Like it looked amazing. It looked absolutely amazing. And yet in my heart, like if I think of it now, let me just think of it for a second. Yeah. If I think of it now, I knew that it wasn't I knew it would look awesome. I just knew it wasn't the right content. And I also knew at that time, now that I think about it, that if I would have like, I went back and shot it on my phone, but I shot it with the intent that I knew that this is what the target audience needed, wanted, to experience. And it got so much engagement. And it was a massive lesson for me to realize that that level of perfection that I had achieved with that first like piece of content was for me. It was not, and I realized I'm not too, you know, obviously this is now going to be out there, and like I have no problems with that because I hope people can learn from this. But I realized early on that it's like everything that I had believed that no, we have to put your target audience, you owe it to them to just be your imperfect self and to grow with them and to realize that, as Brené Brown, I'll butcher it. So if Brené, you're listening, I think you're awesome. But she talks about wearing that armor of like that perception. So if we put on that armor, well, once you put it on, people just seem like they have to perceive. It's almost like a lie. You have to fake every time that you're creating content because you got to live up to this perception that you've created. But as you grow, if all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's not me anymore. Well, that armor doesn't fit you anymore. In fact, it becomes very uncomfortable. And so what we hopefully, like the whole point of this podcast that I thought was amazing was that because we'd heard this so many times from clients, that it clearly was something that we wanted to address and talk about, is that we wanted all of our clients, and even those that we don't work with, to know that it's okay to embrace the imperfectionism, like, right? Like the imperfection is perfect. And that's something that I do like. I mean, hence our stories that we've shared, that I think that when people start just creating things from their heart, and realize that I'm not a perfect human being. And so I am going to just share who I am 100%. I'm going to share who I am. They're going to see engagement go up. The things that they want are going to go up. And just remember my lesson.
No, but honestly though, it's, even when you were talking about this too, I don't even know, a couple of weeks ago, I was watching online. I think even Andrew, my husband, he showed me some video he saw online, but it was even talking about people who are advertising. So like, as an example, like we were talking about, maybe like it's a perfect video or advertising something, and they're just literally regurgitating things that they see online because they think that's the way. Like, let's say I'm a coach, so now I have to like do everything that all the coaches are doing. And then, you hear this all the time. It's like you get lost in a sea of the same type of people because you're literally just regurgitating everything else. And it's not about not being able to share that content. If you believe in that content, you want to share it, but you reshare it in your own way. Exactly. And how you add your own spin on things is just being yourself, right? Like, and when we talk about that, it has to be perfect. It has to be perfect. When we get so wrapped up in perfection, we lose everything that we are. Mm-hmm. It all comes back to being who we are. It comes back to home. So, when you're kind of saying like, oh, I have to be a certain way, or you have to be able to post with yourself. You literally just need to show up. So this is what we say to our clients all the time. Like, if you're afraid about, how you want, just show up. Mm-hmm. Show up in stories, show up, post a photo, behind the scenes of something. And we're also in a really great time where we talk about, the user generated experience. But why does it do well? It does well because it's literally a point of view of someone sharing their own experiences. And that's all we're doing. We're just all sharing each other's experiences. So I love that you shared that story because our ego does get in the way and we always want things to be so perfect. And by doing that, we just ruin everything that is what our brand is or who we are. Right. So it's like by being imperfect, that's where we can really show up as ourselves, and it allows other people to feel the same way.
I agree. And it gives you the opportunity to start conversations as well, to ask people like, what do you guys think of this when you share things? Because a lot of people are like, why? I can hear them already just saying, why would I be posting my fails, my imperfections? Like, I don't really, because it's just something that they feel, maybe they were just taught since a kid. It's like you show your successes, you don't show your failures. And we're not exclusively saying do not show your successes. What we're saying is share the journey, the whole part of it, right? That's the aspect. And I love that you shared that comment about what Andrew had mentioned about you guys had seen online, because I had somebody just talk to me about that same thing. They're like, I keep getting these ads sent to me, and it's like top 3 things that you can be saying and doing to increase followers and likes on Instagram. And they're like, we're doing them, but they weren't doing them in anything to do with their authentic voice or stuff. They were doing exactly what they were told, and it just wasn't working. I was like, well, it's because everybody's doing it. So it all just sounds like noise. And I loved what you said there. That was really cool about adding who you are to that. And so that's one, I think that there's just a level. I was trying to think, like, as you were saying, it just brought up in me that there's like a level of like courage and truth. Right. And when you have that, that's not weaknesses, those are strengths. And when you're able to like bring that across in your marketing efforts, it's like, and open up, like one of the most humble things I remember somebody saying is like, you can ask for help and opening up to community. Like, what do you guys think about this? I'd love to hear. Do you like this kind of content? Do you not like this kind of content? I'm nervous to post it. Mm-hmm. And so for those that are listening to this, we really hope that that's something that I think if it's speaking to you, that you've been worried about posting things because you just feel like you can't do it perfectly. You just don't, even user generated content. That was the other thing that I appreciated that you brought up, because I've been asking, people have been bringing up to me asking, hey, can you film this, but make it really pro? But that's user generated content. And I said, yeah, there's a slippery slope there, because once again, what's the point of user generated content? And it is exactly what you shared. And so people want to be able to relate to things. They want to know that there's more to it. Who are these people, getting to know you? So again, I would just say that, I hope from this that you guys hear that you are perfect in your imperfectionism. And I think that like, I don't know. I really don't know how to even end this one, because I just thought it was going to be something that would be great to talk about, especially because we've heard quite a bit about it. And I do want it to go to that last couple of things: the brand image concerns, customer perception, pressure to compete, social comparison, and lack of control. Those are I think there were 5 things that I had heard business owners fear with imperfection. And so I hope that we touched on those 5 things. And I said them at the end because I'm hoping people go, I've actually have had those thoughts. And I hope that this podcast has kind of helped people to know that you're not alone. We all feel this way. But just to start, I think you mentioned that already, is to start posting. Don't be afraid. Post with bravery and courageousness. And if you have any questions, I mean, obviously we are here and we would absolutely love to be able to help you guys out. Or if we're not here and you're afraid to ask because you're a little nervous, just do a quick Google search. And if you hear it mentioned 6 to 10 times, you kind of know maybe I should listen to that.
Yeah, I think the last thing I just want to add is, like, we're always here. I think something that I'm really proud of at SNR is that we do lead with our hearts. Like we lead with those, like, we always kind of, that's like our mantra, our mission is to really just like tell your story, but like in a really like transparent, authentic way. Yeah. And I just love that that's like, we're very open that way. Like I think we open up a lot of space for people to really be themselves. And I think that's what makes us a little different. And I think that having these conversations is so great because we constantly have these conversations within our own team, but then also like with our clients. And so if you're out there and you're listening, like we just love to chat about this, and that it is a safe place. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can always come to us, and, you know, we're there to support you and be your hype people in the background. Yeah. But I think that if anyone takes anything away, it is just really just checking in with yourself and having that courage and that you're not alone, because a lot of us have either gone through it or are struggling currently with it. Yeah. But we're in it together, right? That's how we learn. That's how we grow. So.
Yeah. I know. I love that. That is something since day one with Search and Rescue Marketing Agency that's just we've been so passionate about. And sharing that with clients, and what sets us apart is exactly what you just mentioned. And letting our clients know, and people that we don't even work with too, people that are even listening to this that aren't clients, but they have a business or they're helping somebody else out, or they're somebody that's in the marketing world that is helping somebody else out, is to know that, you're not alone, that this is something that people feel all the time. It may not be talked about a lot, but being able to just bring your whole self and being able to just, like your stresses, your worries, your anxieties, and know that there's a safe place that you're being heard and valued. It's something that I'm really proud that SNR, that we kind of are always addressing, talking about. And I think that's why too, it does come up a lot in not just this podcast as we've been talking, but it comes up every day that I'm on shoots with people. And I know you as well, when you're on shoots with people, is the number one thing is letting people know that we are there for them for who they are today. Right. I adore them for who they are today. I think it's so cool. And I love that we get to work with people that are good humans, that they're just like us. They're imperfect, but they're brave and they're courageous and they're strong and they're actively living these things out. So I appreciate you taking the time today just to chat about this topic.
Oh, I love this topic. I could talk forever about it. So
awesome. Thank you.